as President Dolores Sendejo call this regular meeting of the Southside Independent School District Board of Managers to order. At this time, we'd like to welcome our guests and actually welcome our new trustees that are joining us on our board. So I would like to give both Ms. Farias and Ms. Morales just a time to share any words that they would like. But prior to that, you probably didn't hear this, but Superintendent Eads, as we know, is clocking his last independent board meeting as superintendent of schools. I have a big knot in my throat, but I'm going to keep it there. Next month, it will be such a wonderful transition as well for us, as we know that Mr. Rolando Ramirez will be joining us alongside Superintendent Eads for the official transition. And we are excited and proud, and I'm happy that we've made it this far. So a great celebration alongside with that by joining us here today with Ms. Farias and of course, Ms. Morales. So either one, we're welcome to unmute and share some words with us.
Thank you all so much for this opportunity. I know I can't speak for Maggie. I'm sure she's just as elated as I am about how we are joining all of y'all, getting to know each and every one of y'all and getting to work with you. Special thanks to Jeff for this process and this journey. Mr. Eads, I know this is your last board meeting, but we appreciate your time and your service to our community, and we wish you all the best going forward. And I just want to also thank my family and all the community for the support we were given. So we really look forward to this opportunity to be with all of y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Farias. Ms. Morales?
Hi. Well, I also wanted to start by saying thank you. As many of you know, I'm a Southside Cardinal alumni, and I can't, it kind of feels surreal because I remember when I was around 18 and I would call my mentor after my classes, Ms. Gloria Sanchez, who's no longer with us. But I would go to her house and I would just talk about some of the issues that our schools were facing and our communities were facing. And actually remember Ms. Farias's father-in-law, Mr. Joe Farias, stopping by our neighborhood and bringing us popsicles and backpacks. And that kind of momentum stayed with me. And I hope to carry that passion throughout our district. So I want to say thank you, Board of Managers. I've worked before and it was such a good learning experience. Welcome, Mr. Ramirez, and thank you so much, Mr. Eads, for all of your time in our district. I look forward to working with y'all and spreading Southside spirit throughout our community.
Thank you both, Ms. Morales and Ms. Farias. We appreciate you. It's just great to embrace the transition that we're moving forward, and of course to have another fellow Cardinal on board. And I know Ms. Farias has little Cardinals within our district as well. So it is definitely heartwarming for us to welcome you all into this next process of years to come, I would say, right? Plural on that one for you all. I see Ms. Powers has her hand up.
Jesse Hernandez joined us at 6:03.
Thank you, Jesse Hernandez. Thank you so much. Welcome, Jesse.
Just my phone, his video is not working correctly, he said.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Luann. But again, thank you to both of you. I am thinking that it may be that Mr. Eads, Superintendent Eads, may be a little emotional right now, but again, we are here, and let's make this one and celebrate this one alongside him. Please know that this meeting is being held and has been posted in accordance with Government Code Chapter 551, State of Texas Open Meetings Act. If during the course of this meeting, the board should determine that a closed or executive meeting or session of the local board is required, then such closed or executive meeting or session can be held as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551. At this time, we'd like to transition into presentations and information. First, I see presentation, Texas Education Agency update, transition to local control. Superintendent Eads.
Yes, we have Dr. Jeff Cottrell joining us to explain this process and make the announcement officially at the board meeting. And Dr. Cottrell is the Deputy Commissioner at TEA.
Dr. Cottrell, welcome, sir.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to join you, assuming that I can be seen and heard. So it's an absolute pleasure to join you virtually this evening, and just want to express my sincerest appreciation to Superintendent Eads for his service over the last years in leading Southside ISD, to the Board of Managers, to their work over the last years to put us in a position to initiate this transition back to local control. Without the progress that's been made in Southside, we wouldn't be able to initiate this process and have Ms. Morales and Ms. Farias join us tonight as members of this board. And so we are very grateful to all of you, and are very encouraged by your most recent decision in naming Rolanda Ramirez as your superintendent. And we are very encouraged by what is going on in Southside. And so what I will say is I am here to help and support you as you move forward. And this time next year, we will initiate phase 2, and 3 additional members of the elected Board of Trustees will transition on. So next May of 2021, we will initiate a second phase of transition. And then as things continue to progress, we will then enter into the third and final phase of transition in May of 2022, where the last 2 trustees will then be transitioning on and returning Southside to full local control. So you keep up the great work. We appreciate your leadership on this board, Ms. Sendejo, and certainly Superintendent Eads, have great gratitude to you for your service over the last years, and look forward to Superintendent Ramirez's leadership in the district as we go forward. I'll just pause and open it up for any questions that you may have of me tonight.
I don't believe any questions there, Dr. Cottrell, but we do appreciate your guidance and support within our district and our community. And we hope that this continues on, as we do welcome here in the near future our next phase as well.
Thank you, and best wishes for your students and to you as well.
Thank you. Moving on to information, review of financial statements, including fund balance for April 2020. Superintendent Eads.
Yes, we've got a very favorable report coming in. We're going to ask Mr. Stanley Osborne, our CFO, to come in at this time and just give you a brief update. You've already had the opportunity to review some of the information, but he'll make it public at this time. Mr. Osborne?
Mr. Osborne there? He was
I'm
earlier.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm rambling on and I forgot to turn my mic on.
Okay. Welcome, Mr. Osborne.
Thank you. So you still have the usual 3 pages that we share. I want to point out to you that we're still on track to add to fund balance with Fund 199 right now. But of course, we have some looming expenses, right, that are still to be posted and related to COVID. I would like to bring the governing body's attention to Functional Code 34, Pupil Transportation, on the first page. I thought that might get someone's attention. This is the first one that doesn't have a positive balance at this time. And I wanted to just explain the reason for that. If you recall, we were involved with a grant for some alternative fuel buses. And we finished purchasing those buses, but they were it was a payback grant, over $800,000. The check is in the mail to us, right? This is something that COVID came upon us, and we just initiated the process by which to get that money back. We have to provide certificates of destruction of the buses we replaced. So that nearly $1 million is on its way back to us when the process occurs. Everything else looks pretty much normal and on track with revenue and spending for that. the 240, which is the student nutrition fund, we're still on track to actually add to fund balance there as well. Just depending on what happens, we have some new pieces to that program. And the debt looks like it has heavy balance, but that's because we haven't paid the remaining debt payments for this year. That will get back down to where we predicted it to go.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Any questions for Superintendent Eads and or Mr. Osborne?
Ms. Sendejo, if I may.
Yes. Good to see you there, Mr. Hernandez.
Hi, good afternoon again. Technical difficulties there, my apologies. Mr. Osborne, just when do we expect to get that check?
So Mr. Berlanga is our transportation director, and we have spoke about it recently as we were doing his end of year budget work. His buses the replaced buses have to be destroyed, and you have to provide a certificate of destruction with your reimbursement request. His buses are with a vendor. It's called Rush's Transportation. I think most people have heard of it. Rush's Heavy Trucks. Well, they're accomplishing the work for us to certify the buses as destroyed. I guess they drill a hole through the engine block. There's some mechanical work there. So the buses are there, but we don't have all the certificates to submit yet based on the COVID shutdown activities. So as soon as we'll accomplish that, that's either going to be deferred revenue this year or it'll be receipted this year if it comes in before the end of August. But it makes his budget look well overspent.
But we will get, once we get that, we should be just fine, right?
Yeah, it's a guarantee. It was a guaranteed program.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Mr. Osborne there?
Yeah, I was wondering, hey, this is Bruce. I was wondering, how many buses were they destroying, actually?
10.
10? Okay.
I guess, can I ask just one more follow-up?
Yes, sir.
When you say destroy a bus, that's scary, right? But is that a requirement of the deal, or why wouldn't we sell the bus as a salvage or?
Yes, sir. In order to receive the funds, we obviously had to purchase alternate fuel buses. Okay, so these are propane. So it was a requirement of the grant program that the buses be destroyed. And Mr. Izagiri is present, and Mr.
Yes.
Berlanga works with him. He may have a comment.
Yeah, so good evening, everybody. So yes, it was a 1-for-1 exchange. We did go in and change out the buses for propane, more efficient buses. The buses that were turned in were about to go out of cycle, so they were about at the tail end of their life. So it was the perfect timing, and we did get reimbursed bus for bus.
Thank you.
Any other questions there? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Saguirre, Mr. Osborne. Moving on, just to double check with Ms. Luann on public comment. She had noted that there were not. Are we still at the 6 o'clock mark in the same stance there, Ms. Luann?
Same stance, we have none.
Thank you. Well, we are going to keep going on to consent agenda. We do have 3 listed at this time. Do we have a motion or consideration for pulling an item here in consent?
Can I pull an item on that for a quick briefing and discussion?
Ms. Farias, can you share with me which one?
The calendar.
Ms. Farias?
I just wanted a quick briefing on the calendar.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull that first, Ms. Farias, before we take a motion on consent. Anything else? And that would be B, consider approval of 2020-2021 updated school year calendar. And we'll move that one on to new business. Therefore, continue. Do we have a motion to approve consent agenda items A and C?
I, Velia Minjares, move that we approve consent items A and C.
Thank you, Ms. Velia Minjares. Motions. Do we have a second?
Jesse Hernandez will second.
Thank you. Mr. Jesse Hernandez seconds. I'm going to go ahead and just read out. Dolores Sendejo for vote yes. Dr. Clinch?
Yes.
Velia Minjares?
Yes.
Bruce Brennan?
Yes.
Katie Farias?
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez?
Yes.
Margarita Morales?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. And we're going to go ahead and go back to now into our new business, and we will begin with consider approval of 2020-2021 updated school year calendar. At this time, do we have any questions or a motion?
I just had a quick question. I've seen some of the TEA calendars that have been posted, and I was looking over ours, and I was just curious as to what I saw that the tentative in yellow for June and part of July at the end of the year for those makeups. But I just had some questions as to are we looking at any other options, or is that if we can just get a quick briefing on what we're approving as far as this calendar, like why is the option for this calendar the best for our school district?
What this does for us is right now, the only thing that it's changing is it's allowing us to go from 176 days to the extended year to 180 days, which allows us for additional funding. You must have 180 days of instruction, and then on the 181st day, you get the additional grant funds for instruction. And so we're extending the instructional day calendar 4 additional days to make us eligible for the additional funding if needed to go to day 181. The second thing it does is it allows us to have makeup days through July 2nd. Normally your bad weather days, your makeup days occur at the very end of your calendar. This extends us an entire month in the event that COVID-19 or anything of that nature has an impact on us. Regarding the guidance on TEA calendars, even today it was mentioned again that if you're a district of innovation, which we are, there will be constant adjustments based on any uncertainties that can happen with a campus and or a district. So Ms. Farias, this calendar adjustment is basically just allowing us to have 4 instructional days and also to go to July 2nd for makeup days. Dr. Hayes, if you have anything you want to add to that, please step in. I'll mute.
Thank you, Mr. Eads. Board members, and welcome the 2 new board members. Good to have you with us. And I know I've seen you around the community quite some time and appreciate you being so servant-minded to serve on our school board. So thank you very much. We are continuing to meet Ms. Farias as a team and looking at calendars and calendar options. What we wanted to do right now, we had approved a calendar previously, I believe it was in February. So what we wanted to do right now is to come back and amend this calendar so it does go out to 180 days and we could apply for the grant that was there, the extended year grant. So all it really does is do that, as Mr. Eads has stated. We're still looking at calendar options, and when Mr. Ramirez comes in on June 1st, we will continue to look at those. We have a task force put together right now that is looking at next year's school year and options for next year's school year. And we plan to, with Mr. Ramirez's approval, bring a plan to you on June the 18th.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Superintendent Eads, Dr. Hayes, on that. It's great to hear what additional options as far as being able to potentially apply for the grant on the extended year. As we know, definitely would be favorable to support our district. Any other questions? Thank you. At this time, do we have a motion to approve 2020-2021 updated school year calendar?
This is
Dr. Clinch, is that you, Dr. Clinch?
Yes, it's me. I move that we approve the 2021 updated school year calendar.
Thank you, Dr. Clinch motions. I, Dolores Sendejo, second. At this time, we will take roll. Dolores Sendejo, yes. Dr. Clinch?
Yes.
Velia Mijares?
Yes.
Thank you. Bruce Brennan?
Yes.
Katie Farias?
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez?
Yes.
Margarita Morales?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on. Next action item, discuss and consider approval of change order 3 for Southside High School. Superintendent Eads.
Well, it's really great to end on a solid note on construction. So I'm going to compliment two people. Dr. Hayes started this journey working with the construction, and Mr. Monreal, and then Mr. Izagiri took it over and finalized it. Mr. Izagiri, if you'll join us and if you'll speak to item 1, and then after they make a motion on that one, if you'll speak to item 2, I'd appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. So item 1, and I'll start with that one, is actually a change in the contract sum for the contractor. It's actually a credit back to the district in the amount of $18,208. So we're basically changing the sum and getting the credit back. So we're getting a refund, basically.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Saguirre, are we getting a big check on that one?
18,000. So
no, I'm just talking about like the big physical checks.
Oh, no, we're not going to.
I thought you were going to raise it or something up in the air.
Oh, no.
Thank you for that. Any questions about accepting and welcoming money back to our district? Did you do this on purpose, Superintendent Eads?
I would like to take credit for it. I think that honestly, that Mr. Izagiri just delayed it for 2 months just to make me look good. So he's a good guy.
There you go. There you go. At this time, do we have a motion to approve?
It's always great to receive money, right? I think I always do these.
Yes, he does, Jesse. You do.
You'll indulge me a little. I move that we approve change order number 3 for the Southside High School reimbursement.
Thank you, Mr. Jesse Hernandez motions. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bruce Brennan seconds. We'll take the vote. Dolores Sendejo, yes. Dr. Clinch?
Yes.
Velia Mijares? Ms. Velia, can you hear us there?
But it's
There it is. Thumbs up is a yes. Here we go. Bruce Brennan?
Yes.
Katie Farias?
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez?
Yes.
Margarita Morales?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to more. Next action item, discuss and consider approval of change order 3 for Lozoya Middle School. Superintendent Eads, and I know Mr. Izagiri will be speaking as well.
Yes, this is another good example of And then we also, I neglected to thank our architectural firm and the contractors as well for doing this for us too. Garza Baumberger Associates as well. But it's unusual to get credits back at the end of the job. They're normally in your change order, you're paying out more. So this is a good thing. So Mr. Izgiri?
Yeah, so very similar to the previous agenda item, except this one will be a credit, not as much, but in the amount of a little over $3,100. And this is for the La Soya project, the renovations.
Thank you, Mr. Seguirre. Thank you, Superintendent Eads. At this time, do we have a motion to approve?
Madam President,
Ma'am.
I move that we approve the change order 3 for La Soya Middle School.
Thank
Getting
you.
money back.
Dr. Clinch motions. Do we have a second?
I vote to second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Morales seconds. Roll. Dolores Sendejo, yes. Dr. Clinch.
Yes.
Bellamy Paredes.
Yes.
Bruce Brennan.
Yes.
Katie Farias.
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez.
Definitely, yes.
Margarita Morales.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. These are pretty nice. Keep it going.
I like these, yeah.
Moving on to action item 3, discuss and consider approval on a resolution to authorize district representatives to move forward with the proposed issuance and sale of one or more series of refunding bonds. Superintendent Eads.
Y'all received the 8-page document regarding the refinancing opportunities. And for the public, I know that I've talked to some of you board members about it, but for the public, it's basically refinancing your house is what it's doing, and doing it at a lower rate, and you just get a cost savings there. With bonds, you're limited on when you can refinance them. There's restrictions that come into play, and they come in staggering years and staggering amounts. With the truly historical low interest rates that we currently have, this is an opportunity for us. And what you're doing is you're technically going to be authorizing myself, and then June 1st, Mr. Ramirez and or Mr. Osborne to call these bonds for refinancing. And you're really playing the market in a sense, in that we're going to wait until the perfect lowest rate hits, and then we'll at that time release the approval to refinance these bonds. And we have a 2010 series, which was just a little over $4 million in debt still outstanding. And then we have a 2012 series, it's a little more than 1.7 million. And then I'm going to defer to Mr. Osborne at this time if he wants to add anything to this. This is just another great opportunity for us. Mr. Osborne?
Yes, sir. And governing body, those 2 series of bonds right now are callable or refinanceable without taxation. And that's a key point with these. And that's why we're being selective as we go forward, because we're not interested in being taxed on these revenues. So these 2 are in the 90-day window. There's no earlier than 90 days before the call date. So these 2 are ready, and Hilltop Securities, our advisors, are in agreement that some days the market is very strong, some days it's not. And even when it is, sometimes there's no buyers, and some days there are buyers. So we need to get ready, and we may have to move at 1 day's notice to go forward with the sale of these. So Mr. Kerry Trell from Bracewell is on the call in if we have a particular question about the resolution, as he helped us draft that for the board. But we're ready to save some money, and the savings over the life of these bonds is going to approach more than $1 million between the 2 of them.
Thank you, Superintendent Eads. Mr. Osborne, any questions?
Mr. Never, if I may.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Osborne, so the near $1 million savings, So understanding the market, and it's been very, very volatile, the last few months, I'd say at minimum, but the plus or minus on the estimated $1 million can it swing greatly, or are we talking about 2 or 3 percentage points up or down?
No, I won't let them go if I don't attain the savings.
Okay, so we're sure it's going to be at least a positive savings. It may be not as great or not, but at least positive, right?
Well, the one series is potential savings of 600,000, and the other series 1.2.
Right.
The second series is the taxable series for later in the year.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Any others? Not a question, but just a comment. Mr. Trell, I know you're on there with us. Please keep an eye, take care of us, and make sure we get the call as soon as we're ready for this to take place. It's definitely an opportunity for us, long-term savings that will again benefit our district. Thank you for everyone that has been having to go through this process, because we know it's a tedious one, but in the end, it's well worth it. So again, thank you, Superintendent Eads, for bringing this forward to us, a couple of months ago, and to be here today, moving this potentially forward. At this time, do we have a motion to approve resolution?
Sorry, it's trying to get off of me there. Madam President, I'll move that we approve a resolution to authorize district representatives to move forward with the proposed issuance and sale of one or more series of refunding bonds.
Thank you. Mr. Jesse Hernandez motions. Do we have a second?
I second. Second.
Ms. Benamicares seconds. Thank you. It's going to go through my call here. Dolores Sendejo, yes. Dr. Clinch?
Yes.
Benamicares?
Yes.
Bruce Brennan?
Yes.
Katie Farias?
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez? Jesse, I believe you're on mute, or thumbs up, either one. There you are. Thank you, sir. And Margarita Morales.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to what technically would be our fifth action item, discuss and consider approval of the medical and voluntary benefits plan. Superintendent Eads.
This is a journey that we started with y'all literally almost 2 years ago, when I told you that one of my goals was to make sure that we provided the most cost-effective and the most, I won't say better coverage and accessibility to our employees for their major medical care. And we started that journey, and then we actively got involved about 9 months ago, and y'all started going in stages, allowing us to continue on the process to be able to utilize another entity to provide major medical coverage and health benefits to our employees. And then the other option will be they can continue to stay with TRS with Aetna plan if they choose to do so. And I'm going to tell you, we're on the very last stage of that journey, and it is today. And we sent you the proposal. We did send it to you late on Tuesday, but that was because of the bids coming in. So the 5 pages there, you can see the substantial savings and benefits to our employees, which a few months ago, and the last time that y'all allowed us to proceed with this and move forward, I shared with you that even if we didn't give the employees a raise, this would be an opportunity to give them a substantial raise in the savings on their major medical. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Osborne at this time. He's taken charge of this program and worked with the vendors in the past few months. Mr. Osborne, please, sir.
Thank you, sir, and governing body. So you note that the action item includes 2 RFPs, number 4 and number 5, essentially, as we broke the service into two pieces. So if we could talk about major medical first. All of our employees still have access to the state's program, the TRS coverages. But with this governing body approval, we will now be able to offer an alternative for our employees. And depending on plan selection, the employees can save some substantial dollars, not only in the premium payments, but also in co-pays, deductibles, immediate, no waiting periods for different things. I want to point out that when we stepped back and we involved the District of Innovation Committee, and we went forward with a unanimous consent to go forward, and we gathered a committee, and the committee is made up of Ms. Gloria Rocha, Mr. Rudy Ramirez, Ms. Michelle Ortiz, and a couple of staff members, including Christina Lopez from HR and my purchasing agent, and a member of my staff and myself sat with a brokerage firm that collected RFPs and conducted analysis and shared analysis and worked towards getting the best prices for us. And actually on the supplemental on bid number 5, there were 22 respondents, and we narrowed it down to what you see on the red bordered paper, the second paper. So we've done a lot of hard work. We got more work to do, but we come now asking the governing body to approve our medical plan award to Humana Services. And keep in mind that in the past, we had talk about whether or not what is accepted by our on-site clinic. And the on-site clinic is fully taken care of with this coverage as well. So employees it should be seamless, for those employees involved with that. And we can come back. The bid number 5 has several different vendors, Humana, MetLife, et cetera, right down the left-hand side. But those are for your dental, your vision, and some other supplemental coverages. And I can point out to you the second column from the right on those sheets gives the percentage of savings on each one of those. And I have all 22 of the respondents' bids in my office, just in case anybody ever is bored and would like to look through some of that actuarial data and census information in regard to combing through rates and plans. But again, just to make it clear, I'm asking the governing body to award the major medical plan to Humana and all the supplemental services to the vendors down the left-hand side of the page of the red border. And we may have to defer to Luann on how you actually state those, or can you just indicate to her that we're going to select those or not at the governing body's pleasure? Thank you.
It would actually be a selection of the ones.
Can you repeat that, Superintendent Eads?
Yes, it would be a selection of the committee's recommendation for the major medical, Humana, and the volunteer benefits selection.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, members?
I just wanted some clarification, if I might. Mr. Osborne, were the DEIC committee, were they only presented with Humana and the TRS insurance plan? Or were they presented with the 4 that we hadn't been made available to us?
So the other respondents that you see there were either so far out or actually not able to provide the service. Some of those other companies, Aetna, Blue Cross, et cetera, are under exclusive contract with TRS, and they're not actually able to provide the service. So we really only got down to 1. Humana was the only viable respondent.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President, if I may.
Madam President, I make the motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ms. Mincaris?
Yes, I was prepared to make a motion if there's no more questions.
Jesse, Mr. Hernandez, do you have a question there? I do, but I know that you commented unless you were ready to motion.
I do have a question if
Yes, sir.
I can. First, Mr. Osborne, in selecting Humana, do we know the average savings that we expect each of our staff that's going to be signing up for this that they could potentially see on a biweekly or annual basis?
You know, we purposefully didn't try to nail that one down because there's so many different plan opportunities and employees, to select on their behalf. We didn't indicated a column of employee cost by each of the plans, and it's referenced there. I know I could be odd and just hold this up and show you where I circled, but I'd be happy to go over it with you. But the employee and employee spouse plans offer the most savings. The savings may not be realized there for employee and children, and employee and family. And literally, we don't have a lot of participants in those two plans to generate a pool that would drive any service, to reduce those rates. So we made up for that with no copays, to reduce copays and reduce deductibles, and no waiting periods. So I guess I could throw a percentage out there of 5 to 6%, but it's not going to apply to every single plan.
So if I'm reading this correctly, if I take the employee and spouse, they would be going to, from as an example, $681 to $640. Is that correct?
$681. If you're looking under MPOS Canopy, that is the employee cost for that plan. And if I want to be clear, it's really not a comparison to TRS because employees can still choose TRS, but it is a less premium.
No, I'm just trying to understand the savings or the grander benefits, the copays that TRS offer have copays, and now we're going to no copays, or
in some cases, yes, depending on the plan selection.
One of the biggest benefits, Mr. Hernandez, is that they'll be able to utilize our clinic, our on-site clinic, and Humana's plan will be accepted there for those employees that choose Humana over TRS.
That was my next question. Thank you for that. That is a big benefit.
I'd like to also point out that 99% of the current network remains the same from TRS to Humana.
I do have a question, Mr. Osborne, because I know the deductible is kind of high for families on Humana. And I know a lot of the families out here have like pre-existing conditions. So if a family isn't happy with the Humana services during open enrollment, will they be able to go to the TRS insurance?
Absolutely. It's 100% the enrollee's choice as to what they choose to do.
Okay, so they can just bounce back from Humana to TRS?
During open enrollment, as you know, that's once a year.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Eats, I just want to add, I know you brought this to us on several different occasions, and you worked quite a lot on this, and along with that clinic, can't speak enough about what it's done for the community, what it's going to do as you evolve into your new ventures. So thank you very much for working on this, and not only this, but everything that he helped put together with that clinic and making sure that this plan goes to them. So thank you. It is appreciated.
Thank you. Superintendent Eads, I believe you shared this with me. I just want to kind of like a target timeline if and when this moves forward. The enrollment period for our staff. I know you shared it. June 1. Okay, gotcha.
Starts June 1.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Brandon?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Is there any type of like a flex spending account with this Humana or an HSA
Yes,
or anything?
sir. This offers the basic exact same program we have now, both of those programs. We're not losing anything.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? At this time, do we have a motion to approve? I will motion. I wrote down several comments. Just want to be sure that we carry it or that I note it correctly. I motion to approve the medical and voluntary benefits plan through Humana Services and all the supplemental services selected by the, is it our DOI committee?
The RFP
The
review
RFP,
committee.
sorry, the RFP review committee.
I'll second.
Thank you. Dolores Sendejo motions, Ms. Velia Minjares seconds. Just for clarification, are we good with the motion there? Superintendent Eads,
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
we.
No, you nailed it.
Oh,
You nailed it.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, Dolores Sendejo, yes. Dr. Clinch,
Yes.
Velia Minjares,
Yes.
Bruce Brennan,
Yes.
Katie Farias,
Yes.
Jesse Hernandez,
Yes.
Margarita Morales.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. I believe that was our final action item, and we do not have, we will not be transitioning into executive or closed session. And I know Superintendent Eads made a few comments when we first started, but it'd be great for him to end us here with a few words. I know, again, next month will be great as we do transition Superintendent Ramirez alongside Superintendent Eads. So again, that's another great celebration for Superintendent Eads.
Well, hey, if I don't know if you can see my shirt. I'm wearing my sales shirt. This was the last one that I received. And actually, I got that from Sylvia Ricone. She gave it to me. I didn't even have to pay for this one. She gave it to me. So Sylvia, thank you for that. And guys, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be around. You'll see me for a long time to come. I'm part of the Southside community, and I will continue to be part of the Southside community. I look forward to supporting Rolando Ramirez in his success in transitioning. I hope that I can be a tremendous asset for him and introducing him to the community, and more importantly, our students and staff in the business community. But it's going to be a wonderful journey. Y'all all keep on positive thoughts. We've made tremendous gains in the past few years, and it has been a wonderful venture, a wonderful journey, and best place I've ever been. God bless.
Thank you, Superintendent Eads, and definitely we'll tune in next month with both superintendents. At this time, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jesse Hernandez, second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye, or
Aye.
thumbs up or
Aye.
check.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. The time is now 6:50. You all be safe and have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank you again, Ms.
Congratulations.
and Ms. Katie.
Congratulations. Congratulations, seniors 2020.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Clinch.
Mhm.
Good to see you there, Mr. Ramirez. Thank you, Dr. Cottrell. You have a good night. Cliff, thank you so much for everything. You have a great weekend.
You too, ma'am.